Well, welcome everybody to 4Q Boundaries tool training tonight. So tonight's question is, where do you rest? And it's basically, the question is when the pressure is on, when the world feels chaotic or demands are flying at you, do you know where you rest while you're still present in your body? So hi there, my name is Michael Spackman. I'm actually the founder of 4Q Boundaries. Tonight we're going to be exploring lesson 3, which is called your inner sanctuary. And whether you're new tonight or you've been with us the last 2 lives, we're going to be posing a simple question for you tonight. And that is, where does your awareness live? And that's going to be an important question for us. So, So tonight we're talking about the inner sanctuary. But before we do that, my name is Michael Spackman, like I said. I have been working energy. I've been meditating since 1994. I have actually trained thousands of students on how to use these styles of tools, as well as how to do energy work. I am also a craniosacral therapist. That's actually what I do also as a full-time job. I have my own business in that. And as well as I also have a history of neuromuscular therapy and also traditional massage. And I've been doing that for over 15 years. So I've actually worked in a lot of clinical environments. I've worked with people from a counseling level. So I have actually, the history of my life is sort of enveloped in 4Q Boundaries. And I'm sort of taking the world of meditation, energy work, and the world of science, so to speak, and sort of blending them into 4Q Boundaries and what we're learning here. So our mission tonight is to basically create a functional neutral zone within your personal space. And how I define your personal space, this is actually something I've learned working with my clients as a craniosacral therapist. How we define our personal space is your aura inwards. And within your aura, we have 4 different bodies. That's what we call 4Q boundaries, 4 questions about boundaries. And the bodies, which is each question is attached to, is your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body. And we'll talk about a little bit more about that in a bit. But tonight what we're doing is we're actually going to be learning about how to find your center within this space of yours. So how do you define your own space of neutrality? And so this is sort of the exciting thing. And I have a cat that wants to sit on my lap, but he can't right now. So anyways, so that's part of our goal tonight. And it's really about learning about what neutrality is and learning about how to observe what's going on around you with clarity without having to react to things. So like I mentioned, we have been, this is our 3rd live. The first week, we actually learned a tool which was called grounding. And that grounding, what we did was we learned how to release. So how do we become aware of stimulus within our body? And where does that stimulus go, which is called, how do you get it out of your body? Week 2, we worked with the tool called reclaiming your energy and power. And this was actually how to reclaim your energy from all the places that you've left it. And then tonight, we'll be working on a place we call your inner sanctuary, and that's actually within your cranium itself. And it's going to be a fun journey tonight. Now, in the training that's going to happen a little bit after this short presentation, we're going to go over the first 2 tools. So you'll be hearing about how to ground. So you'll learn about that quickly. You'll learn about reclaiming your energy quickly. If you want to know more about those things, you have 2 different avenues. One in 4Q Boundaries YouTube channel that's live, the live section, we have the first and second week of the audios there. So you can actually listen to the training on how those go. Or if you'd like, and this is what I hope you'll eventually do, is you can join us as a member. And all of these playlists as well as additional training is also on our website, and that's 4qboundaries.com. So there's two different ways for you to explore how to develop these boundaries. So, and I invite you to explore both of them and see which one works best for you. So moving forward, so sort of the theme, the question tonight, and this is the question I have for you, is where do you reside? And I have found that people reside typically in 4 different areas. And those 4 areas, as you see, are in their heart, it could be in their gut, it could be in their mental space, or they're somewhere else. And this is something that it's a habit. It's a way that you've developed your personal space and how you actually interact in the world. And you'll notice that as we're going to go through each of these 4 areas and sort of define them a little bit more. It's not going to be the definitive list of what these areas are, but we're going to give you a better understanding of these areas, so that way you can actually decide, well, does this sound more like me, or does that sound like more like me, or maybe somebody in your head goes, oh yeah, that sounds like, Joe or Sarah, because you'll start to recognize where these people sit. And so the heart center. The heart center is a part of the emotional body, or at least how I'm defining it in 4Q Boundaries. And the heart center itself, it's where your heart's at. It's also where people that are in this heart center, they enjoy love, they like to feel connected, they're very community oriented in the sense of like family is very important with them. Because it's all about that connection, and there's gratification in feeling that connection and loving as well as being loved. The challenge with that is that when somebody is in their heart center, and this is where they reside, and there's no other place that they go, it's also easy to get manipulated and also feel guilt. For example, let's say within your own tribe, you decide you want to be something other than what the tribe thinks that you should be, or let's say your family. Your family says, well, you need to be this type of person. You're like, I am not doing that. Well, if you're in a heart center, it makes it really hard for you to start following your own path if your path deviates from what the family thinks it should be. And that's the same thing in really any type of relationship, or if you're in a social group even. So if you identify yourself in some type of social group and you start to deviate from that group's wishes, guess what? You may feel guilty, or they'll basically try to manipulate you to keep you within the group. So the question with this is, do you have permission to leave? And I think that's an important question, because it's all about free will. And if you don't have permission to leave, then guess what? At least for me, it's like I want free will. I want the permission to decide what my path is versus me having to follow somebody else's path. So the feeler, this is the second one on our list, and the feeler is also an emotional body type person. And this type of person it's very intense. They feel things. In fact, one of the things they do is they could be very good with empathy. They're able to know when people are upset, when they're not upset. They're able to become aware of what's happening in the room, because their feelers are out. They're feeling everything that's going on around them. And that's actually a skill set, because by understanding people's emotional states, you can empathize with them, get a better connection with them, because you have that energetic empathy skill. It's also sort of compassion, but it's different than the heart center. But at the same time with this type of skill set is that, again, if you reside in the space and if you don't have the ability to leave it, it can leave you feeling exhausted as well as confused. And the reason why that is that if you're feeling everything in the room, when the room is full of people or there's a lot of energy that's going on, let's say there's a lot of drama that's happening within the room or within your group of friends or within a group that you associate with, and you're feeling everything around you, guess what? Your body is now experiencing that feeling. And after a while, the body's just like, oh my God, I'm up to here with feeling everything. I need to take a chill pill. Or it also could be confusing where, let's say you're feeling all this stuff and you're like going, is this me or is this somebody else? And sometimes, that empathy can be great until you become overwhelmed and you start to notice that somebody, let's say they're really upset with a mutual friend. And because of this empathic skill that you have, next thing you know, now you're really angry with this person. You don't have any reason to be angry with them, but you are. And the reason why you're angry with them is because of that emotional connection where you've taken on that other person's emotions. And now within your own personal space, within your own body, you're now expressing that other person's emotions. And then what happens is like, why am I so angry with this person? Well, the reason why you're angry is because you're holding somebody else's emotions within your own space. So, and that could be very exhausting as well. So the question is this my feeling or is this yours? And it's always a good question to ask. The next person is the intellectual. We know this person, especially in the United States. We love intellectual people. We're infatuated with intellectual people. In fact, our whole economy, not our whole economy, but our economy really praises and values people that think. It's a great skill set. It's not the only skill set, but it's a great skill set because what it is, it's logic and it's data. And those are things you can measure. It's actually strategy. It's the ability to put things together in a logical form, and you can convince people of your thoughts and persuade people to follow you because of your skill set as a person that's in their mental body. The person that's able to articulate and communicate because they've thought things through and are now able to express them to you. The other thing is you can I put in here the Spock syndrome. You can also think of, if you're a Star Trek person, Spock, he was an intellectual. He was a person that he resided in logic. And when he got into the emotional space, it created havoc for him. And this is the challenge with people in this mental space, the intellectuals, is that they lack empathy. And what happens is, when you start lacking empathy, the question is, are you really human? Or are you more of a computer that's processing data in a physical body? And that's maybe an extreme, but we can see people like that where they can rationalize everything. They can sit there and they go, you know what? Here's the reason why we should harm people. And they'll give you these amazing points of, data points that says this is why we should do these things, even though it's going to hurt people. And if you're an intellectual person and you start turning off that, your feelings, your empathy towards other people, then next thing you know, you go, yeah, I agree with this person because this person makes a lot of sense to me. And next thing you know, you're in the tribe of the intellectuals, the mental people, because your tribe is all about justifying things from a thought process versus empathizing with people and realizing it's like, oh, okay, I can understand these things, but also I'm also receiving information from my feelings, the empathy of other people. And the question is, can you marry those two together? But in this space, guess what? These people are really not. It's all about the thought process, what's important to them. It's their goals, things like that. So, and our last person is the drifter. And this is the spiritual body. And just to let you know, when I say spiritual body, I'm not talking religious. When I talk about the spiritual body, in 4Q boundaries, spiritual body means, are you here in this moment in time? It's really where your body resides. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in this chart itself. So a person that's a drifter, and you know people like this, we all do, because all four of these types, we see them all over the place. But the drifter is a person that focuses on the past. Or maybe they focus on the future. Or maybe they're just in their imaginations all the time. And so, granted, they have a body. they may go to work. They may, do whatever they're doing. They may go in school, but they're on autopilot because where they exist is maybe they sit in their wounds and they're sitting in the past all the time. And so to have a conversation with them, you don't really quite feel like you're connecting with them because they're not really here. They're sort of here, but they're not quite here. And that's because all of their energy is in the past. As well as the drifter could be somebody that's always in the future. They're always planning the next event. They're thinking, oh, okay, this is what I need to be doing. And it's not through thoughts where it's strategizing. They're literally not in their body. They're somewhere else imagining the future. And this is also a person, or in their imagination itself, where they're just in this creative world that's all their own, which again has nothing to do with the physical body or where their body is at. And we can, this example, I used it in the last live. This type of person, one of the things they do is, it's like if you're reading a good book, that good book, you could be in the middle of that world and not be feeling your body because you're in the world of this book. You can say that's your imagination, but really you're just not here. You're somewhere else. Daydreaming, that's another one. Also watching TV, using your cell phone, things like that. Anywhere that you're not present, this is where the drifter's at. So if you're a person that's always on your cell phone all the time, this is where you live, you're not living in here because in your body is being aware of your surroundings. It's connecting with your physical form. If you're in your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, whatever channels you like to follow, if this is where you're at, then guess what? This is where you're residing, but you're not in here. And that makes it a challenge because when people are trying to engage you, it's like, again, you're not quite here, which they can sort of sense. So now I have a question for you. Since we've gone through these 4 different types, where do you reside? Do you identify with any of these 4 different types? And if you do, I'd love for you to actually put in the comments section, where is it? And how do you recognize it? I'd love just to sort of hear your thoughts and your experiences with these 4 types. Or if you know somebody that, maybe it's not you, it's somebody else. You can share somebody else's. It's like, oh yeah, I know this friend, and share. I'd love to hear. So, but the solution, and this is what we're going to be doing tonight, and this is actually our inner sanctuary. And so, like I said at the very beginning, our inner sanctuary actually is within our cranium itself. And this is actually our command center. Your brain's in here. In fact, we're not going to be going into the anatomy and things like that, but this is actually where your central nervous system resides, this and your spinal cord. And so this is your body's command center. And again, your body, like I said in previous videos, is the foundation for those other 3 bodies, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. They all connect into the physical body. And so by you being able to reside within this space within yourself, you're able to actually start to become more aware of the emotions, the mental, and the spiritual. So you're able to start to become more aware of those other places that people reside because you're actually sort of in the command center itself, which is pretty cool, I think. So the challenge, I would say, again, with these four spaces that people reside in, and I've already sort of said that, is that it's easy to match other people. And this is the biggest challenge that we have. This is the biggest challenge we have right now on the planet, is where we match other people and we lose consciousness of ourselves. We become very tribal. And next thing you know, if you're not a part of my tribe, then curse on you. And this is actually what we're seeing right now live in the United States, where people are battling each other. And you can probably look to see, okay, where these tribes are residing. Are they in their heart? Are they in their gut? Are they in their thoughts? Or are they just drifting? But bottom line is that people are reacting to this charge because right now we're in sort of a combat zone. And so what happens if you're in one of these four spaces, again, you can feel overwhelmed. And so many people are feeling overwhelmed, which is why a lot of people are becoming drifters. They're just checking out. They go, I don't want to deal with any of this stuff. Or they become fighters and combatants, but where are they combating from? And how are they combating? And how is their body handling it? Because a lot of people, again, they're getting overwhelmed. They're feeling overwhelmed. And then there's adverse effects that happen when you're feeling that overwhelmed, especially on a chronic level, which is why you need to take care of yourself, which is why we meditate, which is why this I put together these lives, because I want to teach people how to have your space, your personal boundaries. So this is why it's important. And by learning tonight's tool, you're going to be learning how to unmatch from all the chaos that's happening around you. Now, that doesn't mean that you lose the empathy, or you lose the connection, or you lose your thoughts, or even you lose the drift. It's really about having that permission to go, okay, I'm going to detach so I can just see what's happening around me. And it's also important, just to let you know too, and this is sort of what the title of this section is called, discovering your unique energy signature. That's what we did last week, which is called you're calling back your energy. And you're doing it in a bubble. And we're going to be doing this in a few moments. But when you call back your energy in a bubble and you're holding on to it, how you experience that moment with holding your energy is you're learning how to recognize your energy, because it's different than other people. And it's really important to understand that, because the more that you can recognize your energy versus somebody else's, when you feel overwhelmed, when your space is expanded so big where you have all these other people within you, it's hard to separate you from other people. And that's where a lot of times we become extremely tribal. You probably heard of the term groupthink, where people are reacting, as a single unit, even though they're a bunch of bodies. They're not the same people. Well, that's because they're all one, because they're all within each other's spaces, which can be extremely unhealthy. Hence why I would like to teach people how to do this, so that way you can not do it, because it's really not. It's very toxic. So inner sanctuary versus mental body. So they're not the same thing. So your mental body is your thoughts. It's your scripts. It's how you think. It's your to-do lists. It's your ability to differentiate between, me speaking versus you listening. You can recognize it versus we're not one, we're separate. And you can tell because you have that mental body that gives you that boundary to understand the differences. Now, the inner sanctuary is all about awareness. It's about observation. It's about your own presence and really your space. And by the way, we're going to be covering really defining your personal space in detail in lesson 5 and lesson 6. But your personal space is your aura inwards. But I'm not going to go any farther than that because we're only on lesson 3. In each lesson, we give you more definitions. We give you more tools to define yourself. So when you get to that level, you'll be ready to really look at your personal space in a new capacity. But it's really important to recognize that your inner sanctuary is not your mental space. It's actually a space where you reside. And again, you'll be doing this in a few moments. So it's important just to be aware of that concept, which is a mental thing. So anyways, experience over information. So 4 key boundaries, I pride myself and our training on, we're experiential learning. It's not about information. Your information is within you. It's how you experience things. Science maps biology. It maps a lot of stuff, but it's physical, it's tangible, it's logical. It's communicated through testing with hypotheses and theories and laws, and they say, okay, here's a hypothesis, let's test it. We're not doing that here at 4Q Boundaries. This is experiential training. And this is about really asking the question of, what do I notice when I'm doing something? Like, what do I notice when I listen to an audio, which will be tonight? That question then gives you permission to start paying attention to yourself and how do you experience yourself, which is important because that's where your information resides, which is in how your body interacts with you inwards as well as what's going on around you. So it's important. There's something I wrote down that I actually liked, and so I'm going to read it because I think it's important. So science maps the hardware, which is your brain and biology. You're mapping the software, the electricity, the energy, the consciousness. Notice what you notice is the tool that turns vague feelings into specific coordinates that on that energetic map. And the energetic map is your personal space and inwards, which is your physical, your emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. So anyways, enough there. So now we're going to be moving into the meditation portion of this. I just want to sort of explain what you'll be doing before we actually listen to the audio. You're defining your inner sanctuary. So when I talk about the front, it's the front of your head. When I say the back, it's the back of your head. When I say the right side, it's the right side of your head, the left side of your head. The ceiling, which is the top of your head, and the floor, which is actually where your ears are at. So what we're doing is we're defining your cranium, what's going on within this space here. And then the other thing we talk about is keep it really simple. Use the 3-step process and use your felt sense experiences while doing this. But the 3-step process is really simple. It's called listen to the audio, which is what we're going to be doing. Notice what you notice and repeat. And it's that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Yeah. So we're going to be moving onwards. So what I'd like you to do is, if you're in a comfortable place, just lean back, close your eyes. There I am. I had it turned off. We're going to be moving on to this audio. So as you can see here, we're going to be listening to 34 minutes of this audio. We're going to be defining your space, learning how to ground your sanctuary, how to set the tone for your sanctuary, and then we have a conclusion. So we have 4 different sections that we'll be doing tonight. So enjoy, and I will talk to you in 34 minutes.
Let's begin. I'd like you to start off by putting your attention on your body and just notice how you feel. Notice your feet. Notice your legs and your pelvis. Notice your torso and your arms, your neck and your head. And start to pay attention to your breathing. Just allow yourself to take a nice deep breath. And just exhale. Notice how it feels to allow that air to leave your body. Notice the feeling of the clothes that you're wearing. And now start to pay attention to gravity. Notice that gravity is keeping you in that chair, pulling you downwards. And then I'd like you to pay attention to the base of your spine and just notice, do you have a grounding cord on? And if you do, what color is your grounding cord? And if you don't, it's time to create a grounding cord. And as you're paying attention to your grounding cord, I'd like you to notice, how wide is that grounding cord? Is it as wide as your hips? Is it a small, teeny grounding cord? Does the grounding cord go from the base of your spine all the way down to the center of the planet? Or does it stop halfway? Can you feel that gravity, that gravitational pull that's not only keeping you in the chair, but continuing to pull you down that grounding cord? So you feel that security of being tied into the center of the planet. And now I'd like you to put your attention on your hands. And within your hands, I'd like you to create that clear bubble. Notice that there's no energy in this bubble right now. It's just empty. Think of it as like a nice empty glass. And just feel the outsides of it. Notice how big it is right now. And now I'd like you to call back your energy from the day, from your week, any place that you've left your energy. I'd like you to allow your energy to be collected up into this bubble. And notice how this bubble changes. Does it grow in size? What color is your energy that's coming into this bubble? Notice its texture. Notice the weight. And as you're paying attention to your energy that you're calling back, how does your body respond to this? Is there a lot of enthusiasm? Is there any negativity in your body? And if you're feeling something adverse, allow your grounding cord to release that energy out of your body as you're calling your energy back. And then I'd like you to take this bubble, bring it above your head, poke a nice big hole in it, and just allow your energy to come into your head. Allow it to saturate every cell. Allow it to go into your eyes and your ears and into your mouth. Allow it to go into your neck and your shoulders. Allow your energy to go into your arms and your hands. Allow your energy to go into your chest, into your pelvic area, right into your legs and down into your feet. Just completely saturate your body with your energy. And as you're completely filling yourself up, notice that your energy is going to displace or get rid of foreign energy. So if there's any aches or pains that may be in your body, allow your energy to fill up those areas and push that foreign energy out. And now I'd like you to create another bubble in your hands. And this time, again, before we begin, just notice that it's empty. You haven't started calling back your energy yet. Give yourself permission to notice the difference between when you're creating a structure for your energy to collect up into, and then notice the difference when you actually call your energy back. This is a part of the training. So now what I'd like you to do with this bubble in your hands is call your energy back. But this time I'd like you to call back a theme. What type of energy would you like to have in your body right now? Maybe it's inner strength, compassion, love, whatever you'd like. It doesn't matter. So allow this bubble to call back any place that you may have left your energy. And allow your energy to collect up into this bubble. And notice how it feels. Notice the size of this bubble. Notice its weight. Notice the color of your energy. And now I'd like you to bring this bubble above your head. And again, just poke another hole in it and allow your energy to come into your body. Completely filling up your head, front to back, into your eyes and your nose and your mouth, and your ears, right into that neck, into your shoulders, your arms and your hands, into your chest, into your stomach and abdomen, into the pelvic area, down into your legs, all the way into your feet. Allow your energy to penetrate every single cell in your body, including all the hair in your body, all the nails. Completely saturate yourself. And again, notice your grounding. Notice that you can release foreign energy. Anything that does not allow you to have this theme, let it go down your grounding. You're noticing any thoughts, or if you get distracted, allow that distraction or those thoughts to go down your grounding. Let's explore your inner sanctuary. So I'd like you to draw your attention up to your head, and let's explore the boundaries of your head. You can notice the front, you can notice your sides, you can notice the back, you can notice the floor of your head. As well as your head ceiling or the top of your head. And between these points or boundaries, notice there's a lot of room in there. Can you just feel what it's like within your head? And now what I'd like you to do is I'd actually like you to find the center of your head. And how you do that is just notice your ears, and just right above your ears, I'd like you to create a line from one ear to the next. And then from the forehead itself, right around the brow area, you can start creating another line that goes all the way back to the back of your head. And where those two lines meet, just imagine that is in the center of your head. And now what I'd like you to do is you're noticing the center of your head. I'd like you to create a grounding cord and attach that grounding cord right to that center point. And then draw a line straight down to the center of the planet. And notice, what does it feel like to have your inner sanctuary, that inner space within your head? Notice, what is it like to have it grounded? You can pay attention to gravity and noticing that gravitational pull that keeps your body attached to the planet. Now that gravitational pull is also focused on allowing energy that's inside your head to go down the grounding cord. Allowing your head to release foreign energy. And now what I'd like you to do is, as you're becoming comfortable with being grounded in your head, I'd like you to notice what color is the grounding cord that you created for your head. And I'd like you now to change that color of your grounding cord to a blue. And just notice, what is it like to have your head grounded, that sanctuary, completely grounded, but at a blue color. And notice, what is it like to have a nice, solid, blue grounding cord for your head. Notice how your body's responding to this. You may notice a little confusion. It's like, oh, what are we doing? That's okay. We're clearing out your sanctuary, clearing out all the confusion that can get inside your head. You can also notice you have a separate grounding cord for the rest of your body. So you have two grounding cords going on at the same time. And now what I'd like you to do is change your sanctuary's grounding cord to a green color. And notice, what is it like to change that grounding cord to a green? How does your body respond? What emotions are you experiencing? What thoughts are coming through your head? Notice what it's like to have your inner sanctuary grounded at green. And now I'd like you to change your inner sanctuary's grounding cord from a green to a yellow. Notice what happens to you when you change that grounding cord from a green to a yellow. And now I'd like you to change that grounding cord again for your inner sanctuary from a yellow to a red. And again, notice, is this easy to do? Do you like the color? Are you indifferent? How do you respond physically, emotionally, mentally to when you change your grounding from one color to the next? You can even notice your grounding cord on your body. How does your body's grounding cord respond? And if the answer is I'm not sure, that's okay. That's an answer too. And now I'd like you to change your grounding cord from that red to whatever color you'd like. And just notice, how do you respond? You can also notice how wide that grounding cord is for your inner sanctuary. Notice the length of that grounding cord. Does it still look like it's going all the way to the center of the planet? You still notice that gravitational pull that's helping you release any energy that's in your inner sanctuary to release down that grounding cord. So that way you can have more clarity inside your head. And now I'd like you to put your attention more inside of your head itself, inside that inner sanctuary. And just sort of notice, do you have a little bit more room in there? Are you able to notice the front of your head easier? Or the sides a little bit easier? The back of your head a little bit easier? Do you have better definition of the ceiling or the top of your head? Or the floor or the base of your head? And notice, is there a color for your inner sanctuary inside your head? Can you see a color vibration that you're vibrating at right now? And now, what I'd like you to do is, from whatever color that you may see, or maybe you don't see at all, I'd like you to change your inner sanctuary to a blue. And notice, how does it look to have your inner sanctuary inside of your head, your whole head vibrating at a blue vibration? Notice, how do you respond physically, emotionally, mentally? And now I'd like you to change the color of your inner sanctuary from a blue to a green. And notice, how does that color feel as you change your inner sanctuary from a blue to green? Are you able to see that vibration of color? Are you able to feel it? Do you notice that you still have a grounding cord attached to your inner sanctuary? It is able to release foreign energy that's in your head that is not in agreement to this color of green. Can you let that energy go? You start to drift away and start thinking about other things. Notice those drifting thoughts is distracting you from noticing your inner sanctuary. So let those thoughts just go right down that grounding cord. And now I'd like you to change your inner sanctuary from a green to a yellow. And just notice, how do you respond to that bright yellow? You can notice if you're grounded. You can also notice your body. Can you actually feel your body as you're keeping your attention on your inner sanctuary of your head at that yellow? But notice that you have a body. You have a body that has a grounding cord attached. You have feet. You have limbs. You have a torso and a pelvic area and legs. You have a breath. So as you're noticing your inner sanctuary, how easy is it for you to pay attention to the rest of your body? And now, from this yellow, I would like you to change your inner sanctuary to a red. And again, pay attention to the experience. This is the lessons. This is the learning. What you're experiencing is the lesson. How you respond is the lesson. How you're reacting to the change is the lesson. How you're responding to the colors is the lesson. And just notice, what is it like to have your inner sanctuary at a red? Notice, can you have a grounding cord that's attached to the base of your inner sanctuary, releasing foreign energy out of your inner sanctuary so you can own this space for yourself. Your inner sanctuary is yours and nobody else's. And again, just notice your body. Notice that you have a grounding cord attached to the base of your spine. Notice how easy it is to sit and relax as you're exploring your inner sanctuary of your head. And now what I'd like you to do is change your inner sanctuary to whatever color you would like. And again, just notice, how easy is it to change the color? How does your body respond to this color? And if you are having a hard time figuring out what color to have for this, for your head itself, your sanctuary, well, open your eyes up for a second, look around the room and go, oh, there's a color, and use that one. And just notice that you can have a grounding cord. It doesn't have to be the same color as your inner sanctuary, but it can as well, your choice. But just notice that your inner sanctuary is grounded. You're setting the tone for your inner sanctuary for yourself. You're releasing anything that is not you, that does not vibrate at the vibration that you'd like, and let it go. Well, congratulations. You have completed the training tool for lesson 3. It's all about that inner sanctuary. So I'm excited that you're learning this tool, because one of the things as you keep going forward with the other lessons is that this tool becomes more and more relevant. Because as you start defining your space, and that's what we're doing, is we're actually learning about what is our personal space, but we're doing it from an energetic level versus a thought process. And what you're doing is you're learning how to define yourself. And this inner sanctuary, this space in your head, which is where your brain resides, is really important. Okay, we don't go into the anatomy and the physiology of things, but just know that that inner sanctuary is a part of your central nervous system, and it's connected to a lot of parts of you. And so by keeping this exercise, keeping this lesson really, really simple is extremely powerful, and it's necessary. So I don't want you to overthink how this works. It's just simply using your felt senses. Can I feel the front of my head, the back, the sides, the top, the bottom? And can I ground it? And can I set a tone? That is a lot. And there's a lot of things happening there with, again, this is your first introduction to it, so we're not going to go into depth about what it means and what's happening, because it doesn't matter. Remember, this is experiential training. So the fact that you're able to do this, you're able to listen to the audio, you have a defined space now within you, which is your inner sanctuary. Are you able just to notice what is it like to have this space? And how do you perceive things around you? So when you're using the exercise and you're listening to the audio and you're changing the color of this inner sanctuary, what do you experience? You may feel like, this is a lot of effort doing this. That's an experience. If you're like, I can't see anything, that's an experience. If you're like, what is this supposed to do? Well, guess what? That question itself is the experience. It's like, I'm thinking about this, versus doing what we've said in the emails, a simple 3-step process, which is listen to an audio and notice what you notice, and repeat the process, which is called listening to the audio. So the whole goal for your inner sanctuary is about experiencing you and setting a tone or color for yourself within you. And don't go beyond that. And recognize that as you're doing this, we're still paying attention to being grounded, and we can still call back our energy. So the first lesson 1 and lesson 2 is still very relevant. So in fact, after you do this exercise, if you haven't brought in your energy and filled up, the inner sanctuary, well, you can do that. So it's one of those things where these tools are still important. So in fact, now you'll have 2 ways of grounding. You have your grounding cord attached to the base of your spine, and then you'll also have one attached to the inner sanctuary itself in the center of your brain, or the center of your cranium. So have fun with this. Don't overthink it. Enjoy the process. You're doing a great job. And remember, you've listened to this audio, so move right on to the skill builder. Listen to those audios every day for the next 6 days. And then on the 7th day, give yourself some time, do the challenge for as long as you are able to, and then move on to lesson 4. So don't get stuck in trying to be perfect, because perfection, it'll never happen. This is all about learning, and you're going to be learning about this stuff for the rest of your life. It's not something you master and then you have all your answers. That's not reality. That's somebody selling you something. And what I want you to do is have an experience, and that's part about living. You experience life every day, so enjoy the experience with having an inner sanctuary and having your energy set the way that you want it set. So enjoy, take care, and I will talk to you in lesson 4. Take care.
Welcome back. So, how'd it go? You heard the conclusion. Sort of that was the conclusion for people that are members. That's the audio that they get to hear. But what'd you notice? How did you experience yourself? Were you able to sit, or did you get up and move around because you got ants in your pants? Were you able to stay within here, or were you trying to figure out? It's like, well, how do I experience that? Confusion, maybe. Did you drift? Did you fall asleep for a bit? Come back? Those are all experiences, sort of like what I said in the conclusion. So all of that's real, all that's valid. You may even notice, like, as I was going here, I dropped into my heart, or like I said, you drifted. So those are different spaces. So it's sort of I just love this type of training. So I'd love to hear your comments. So this is the unfortunate part about being in a live setting, or even in a video setting, really. I'm used to training and working with people on one-to-one or in a group environment. I don't do trainings like this in one-to-one. it's much more dynamic when you have large groups of people. But when it's on in a computer, on a cell phone, I don't get to hear anything. So if you're so inclined, leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you're experiencing itself. So, anyways, last thoughts. I wrote this and I liked this last thought, which is all about owning your own space. And I'm going to read it to you. So it says, you can visit your heart, your love/connection. You can visit your gut, those instincts. You can visit your mental space, which is your thoughts. You can visit your past or future, which is the drifting. But you always have a home to return to. And that home is that inner sanctuary. So, anyways, I would love for you to become a member of 4Q Boundaries. I'd love to see you. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, please send me a message. And please like this channel. Please comment. Please subscribe. And I will see you next week, where we'll be learning 2 new experiences. And I'm not going to tell you what they are, but we're going to be running energy. That's all I'm going to say right now. We're going to be exploring energy, and that's going to be in lesson 4. So have a fabulous time, and I will talk to you next week. Take care.